What's going on, guys? Graham G. Matthews here with FanSided Daily DDT. And ahead of one night in Vegas, we're going to be talking to the man himself responsible for the event, Booker T. It's coming up on Friday, November 19th, MGM Grand Conference Center Premier Ballroom, 7 p.m. local time, just in a few short weeks. Booker, how are you, sir?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. I'm tired. I'm serious. Been working my butt off, and this show coming up has just made it a little bit more stressful. But I'm good, man. I'm good.
That's great, man. Well, first of all, thanks for taking the time today. I appreciate it. And I can only imagine how tired you are. So, just a brief timeline here. 48 hours ago, we're talking on Tuesday, October 26th, right now. I just saw you at the Connecticut Wrestling Classic. I had you sign my Intercontinental title with the yellow font or whatever with the Sharpie. And I said to you at the end there, I said, thanks for taking the time last year to promote your event, the Be Woke Tour, in October of last year. And we just spoke literally a year ago. And I'm thinking, yeah, it was cool to talk to him. Great to finally meet him. And then literally a day later, I get the email from Lee saying that you're doing interviews to promote this event. I'm like, well, what is the timing on that? I mean, that's wild. So I get to speak to you again 24 hours later. So again, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Awesome, man. Well, let's talk about this. You got the event coming up on Friday, November 19th. You're a busy man, Booker, with all the stuff you got going on right now. This show coming up in Las Vegas, the first event outside of Texas. That's crazy because last time we spoke a year ago, the show was in Texas. It was a great event. The Be Woke spoke tour, all that other great stuff. First event outside of Texas. Talk a little about that. Talk about that a little bit. How cool that is.
It kind of like correlates with my wrestling career. First time I left Texas, in the wrestling world, I went to Japan. Mm-hmm. That's my first tour. First time ever being on a plane. A lot of my guys, a lot of these guys, they're really young guys. It's going to be the first time they're going to be getting on a plane, and they're going to be heading to Vegas. Can you imagine, a young 21-year-old kid, 20-year-old kid going to Vegas to wrestle like a Will all day, like a Cam Cole, and then headline the event? That would be awesome if I was that kid. For me, when I got into wrestling, a guy by the name of Ivan Putski, we were in wrestling school for 2 months, and then we were on television. Man, I was ecstatic, you know what I mean? So for me to actually be able to give my young guys, my young girls, a chance to actually experience that is awesome. But first and foremost, all of them are equipped to go out and perform in front of a crowd in Vegas on that level, because I believe in those guys and those girls. They are really that good. Cam Cole, Will Allday, just to give you a backstory on those two guys, they came to me, this deal I got is called Fantasy Camp. They were young kids, had never wrestled before, ever. And now look at them together in the main event in Vegas, in that ballroom. It's going to be awesome. And that's what this thing is all about. It's a showcase for my talent. It's a showcase for the world to see what Reality of Wrestling is building. We're going to stream this thing on our Reality of Wrestling YouTube channel live for free, just so the world can say, man, these guys are really doing something special down there in Texas. And if you want to be a part of it, go to realityofwrestling.com and join the Row Nation and be a part of this thing, man, because that's what it's all about.
There is no excuse to not watch this show. I mean, it's on a platform that everyone has, YouTube. You can obviously be there as well. But as far as watching, if you're not in the Vegas area, it's on YouTube for free. There's literally no reason for people to not check out the show come November 19th. It's going to be awesome. But you mentioned that match. I was going to ask you about it. The ROW championship match, Will Allday, Cam Cole. You got a triple threat diamonds match as well. Promise Braxton, Alex Garcia, excuse me.
Yes.
Rachel Rose, Ryan Davidson versus Brian Keith as well. There's some notable names in there for people that follow AEW program that have appeared on Dark before. And obviously there's a lot of alumni coming out of Reality of Wrestling that have signed with a lot of major promotions. So these aren't any no-namers. Like, these are people that could headline any show at any point, anywhere in the country. And it just so happens to be in Vegas at the MGM Grand Ballroom, which again is no small arena. I mean, this is going to be awesome. Why Vegas? Talk about that a little bit.
In Vegas, my wife and I, we've been going to Vegas forever. And it's just such a place that, the bright lights, my wife and I, we had a very, very quick, short honeymoon. It happened to be in Vegas because we had to get right back out on the road. But what you said there a second ago about those names, the Ryan Davisons, the Mysterious Q of the world, Ed Stones. These guys have gotten chances to do things in other places. That's what reality wrestling is really all about. It's about giving these guys a springboard to actually get to that next level. We call ourselves the AAA of professional wrestling. And if you want to get polished up, if you want to know what it means to work television wrestling, learn what it means to work a crowd, know all the little bitty things. That's what reality of wrestling is all about. And that's what we're going to bring to Vegas on November 19th. Organization. Reality of Wrestling is an organization built with a lot of young talent. I've built this thing from the ground with young talent because I have a saying, young people can aspire to be that when they see young people doing things. And I feel like we got the youngest roster in all of professional wrestling. And but that young roster is something to be reckoned with. And we're going to prove it in Las Vegas on November 19th.
And when you have shows like this, not only your own shows, but again, seeing these, guys and girls succeed elsewhere and go on to do stuff while still with reality of wrestling, that's got to give you like that proud papa moment, right? Like that's got to give you an indescribable amount of joy to see these guys succeed, especially on a show like this, to see them go out there and kill it. How proud does that make you?
Man, I am like a proud dad. We started this thing 17 years ago. And we've grown into something that's become almost a household name. We're getting close, but we're still like taking baby steps. We're trying to make sure we do everything right before we get there. But I'm so proud to see exactly where we are right now. But I don't want to get I don't want to rest on our laurels.
Yeah.
I want to make sure we keep working as hard as we're working right now. Everybody know exactly what this thing is all about. I tell my team, I say, everybody on our show, we got a role to play. If you play your role in that role, in that only, that's fine. If you do yours, that's fine. If you do yours, that's fine. But at the end of the night, all of that comes together, and we've had a great show because everybody has done their job, and that's what reality of wrestling is going to bring to the table. I'm talking about from setup to breakdown. Those guys are going to be working as well as performing that night at the same time because we're a machine, and we're gonna, like I say, show the world. And what's really, really cool about this thing also, since we announced coming to Vegas, we've got so many young talent out there that's working on the independent scene that want to be a part of it as well, like the Danny Limelights of the world. I want to throw Danny Limelight a shout out. He's going to be in Vegas that night. So we may have Danny on the show. Maserati, she's out there in Vegas. She's been talking about showing up and showing out. So we're going to have a lot of surprises for this show as well. And of course, myself and the Boogeyman going one-on-one in an autograph signing before the show at 6 p.m. That's going to be cool, a little throwback to WrestleMania.
I was going to say WrestleMania, 15 years later? That's crazy, especially for longtime fans. You get to see the past, the present, and the future of pro wrestling. I mean, could you imagine, Booker, the promotion getting as big as it is right now in 2021? I mean, when we spoke a year ago, you were still running shows just in Texas, but in the midst of a pandemic, no less. I mean, this is crazy that you guys are still doing shows bigger and better. And, a lot of promotions kind of stayed either stagnant, died off. We didn't really see many promotions go further. You guys have not only remained active, but you're still doing shows, and you've only gotten bigger and better in the last year. That's amazing.
Hey, preparation is the only luck you're ever going to have. I say that all the time. And we've been preparing, like I say, for 17 years. We went through the 2008 crash. I mean, we've gone through the pandemic. We're still here, and it's all due to my young guys being on top of their game through the pandemic. Our YouTube channel grew probably 400%, and right now we're at 530,000 subscribers. We're on our way to 1 million, and it's all due to my young guys. Brad Gilmore's, Kevin Bernhardt's, those guys that's in the war room working their butts off. Even when I'm not around, they're still strategizing how to keep this thing going because that's what reality of wrestling is all about. I've taught my soldiers to be able to teach my soldiers coming up, to be able to teach the next ones coming up. So God forbid, if something ever happened to me, reality of wrestling will still be fully intact.
Is there any one thing that you look at on a bucket list of goals? Like, all right, we're getting out of Texas now. We're on to our first Vegas show. That's a major milestone. Obviously, you don't want to look ahead too far into the future. You want to enjoy the present and the stuff you guys are doing right now. Is there any one thing you look at? All right, this is something I want to do with reality of wrestling within the next year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever it might be.
Well, our goal has always been to be the flagship of Texas wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, and I don't have my ring on right now, but I wear the ring of Paul Bosch. And Paul Bosch was a great promoter here in Texas. He was a wrestler back in the day. And he did so many great things, for so many wrestlers. We just want to be able to tour Texas. We want to be able to, because Texas is big enough to run an organization. But we do want to be able to have our nuggets, like in Vegas, and doing, shows, where our fans want us to come and see reality of wrestling. So we're definitely open to, expanding and going other places. But we're a Texas-based company, and we really want to keep it that way.
And it's awesome too. We're in such a cool period of pro wrestling right now with your promotion and all the other promotions. Everyone's thriving right now. Every talent's kind of going everywhere. Open border policy, so to speak,
Yeah.
with all these different promotions. It's awesome. So obviously reality of wrestling is benefiting from that. And you mentioned earlier how you guys kind of pride yourself in the tagline of being like the AAA of professional wrestling. Like you never know who you might see on one of these shows pop up somewhere else at some point in the near future. So just kind of obviously I know you talk about it regularly on your own show, but your thoughts on the current landscape of pro wrestling and how you guys are kind of benefiting from that as well.
I like I said, I love companies showing up like a AEW. It works perfect for me.
Mm-hmm.
To see my young guys get a chance. Sammy Guevara, he was one of my students, back in the day, and I look at him and he's thriving, and I look at a company like ROH and Rok-C, the first women champion in ROH, and she's homegrown reality of wrestling. The youngest reality of wrestling diamonds champion in the history at 16 years old. So we're all about producing. We're all about, as well as WWE, Zeta Ramirez, she's doing her thing right now. Mace, he's doing his thing. Those are reality of wrestling guys. They came right out of the school, So we're just trying to, utilize these companies as much as we possibly can. WrestleMania coming up here in Texas, no doubt we're going to be piggybacking off of them. We're going to be doing some shows right there, along with them that weekend. So it's great for reality of wrestling, and I love the landscape of wrestling right now because I feel like it's hotter than it's ever been, right now. That's what professional wrestling is.
Absolutely. And it's funny you mentioned Rok-C and Sammy too, because their title wins, because Rok-C, like you said, just became the, first ever Ring of Honor women's world champion with the, presentation of that title. She posted I think she posted a picture of herself and you, or I know Sammy did, of himself as, he just right after he won the AEW TNT title, and he was like, what, 18, 20? I don't even know how old he was.
No, he was a little kid. I think he was like, like that was the first time he had met me. He was like 12 or something like that.
That is crazy. And now he's the TNT champion. So it's like it's like the trickle down period. Like they just won their titles like literally back to back. And when you hear like reality of wrestling alumni, it's like, all right, maybe I got to go check this out and see what other stars are coming up. And Will Allday is one of those guys as well. I've seen plenty of him on Dark.
Will Allday right now, he's one of the top independent wrestlers in the country. He can work with anybody. He'll be one of those guys that can go to Japan, and those guys over there are going to love him forever. I'm probably going to lose him, here within the next 6 to 12 months. I know that, but that's what reality of wrestling is all about. Bringing these guys in, bringing them up, and getting them to that next level, because there's so many more out there that want to, get into this business, and they're just wondering, how do I do it? We don't advertise a whole lot or anything like that, but look at our track record. We got a lot of guys. The Usos, they came out of reality of wrestling. They got their finishing schooling at reality of wrestling. So it's all about producing. I remember when I was coming up in the business, when I first got in, and I was trying to, get to the next level. And man, there was so many guys trying to hold me back. Mm-hmm. So many guys, just didn't want you to make it. And I remember that. I remember how I felt when those guys, was trying to hold me back, and even blackball you at certain points just because of certain reasons. But I so want these young guys to be able to live this dream that I've lived for the last 30 years. And it's been such an awesome run. To live life the way I've lived it, it's been great. I come from humble beginnings, and my mother told me it doesn't cost you anything to be nice to people, and to bring somebody up, man, it's a feeling you get that money cannot buy. I'm telling you, it really is a feeling you get that money can't buy. So for me, I'm living my best life.
That's fantastic, Booker. And as we wind down here, you mentioned WrestleMania coming to the Texas area next year at AT&T Stadium. I think the biggest arena in the country is there where WrestleMania is going to be. Any plans that you're putting in forth now, or just an idea of certain shows you might be running? Because that's another 6 months away, I think.
No, man, we are already getting stuff in order. We're on CW33 in Dallas at 3 p.m. We're on Right Now TV as well. Check your Roku. We're out there as well. So we're definitely going to be doing something in Dallas for that show. So it's already written, done, and said. So what's some rap song that came from right there? It came from some rap song.
There's some rap song. Yeah. That's familiar.
So you can stay 2 steps ahead. You know what I mean? Yeah. So definitely we're gonna be doing something in Dallas, and can't wait.
I look forward to it. If I'm there for WrestleMania weekend, I definitely got to check out a show. I haven't been to a reality of wrestling show yet, and I'm a little bummed that you guys are going to Vegas like now, because I was just there for SummerSlam, 2 months ago, and I love Vegas. It's such a great place. So, I look forward to you guys doing more tours like this in the future and more stuff like that. Do you have any cities on the bucket list if everything goes well in Vegas? If all right, if we do well in Vegas, I want to go here next, or is Vegas and Texas kind of like the 2 hotbeds right now?
I never try to put the carriage before the horse.
Absolutely, yeah.
I try to make sure I get everything right. It's like, thinking about the next fight before you have, the one coming up.
Yep.
I want to make this thing a success. It's going to be a small show. I'm not sure, 300 to 500 people maybe. But like I say, stream to the world. But more importantly, it's a showcase for my talent. And if we win there, we can win anywhere. That's the way I feel about Vegas. If you can win in Vegas, you can win anywhere. But I talk to my students and I talk to my guys about working in front of different crowds. I say it's going to be different than working in Houston. Just say, for instance, we go to Philadelphia, man, we got to bring the noise.
Yeah.
If we get a shot to go there at that 2,300 arena one day. If we go to New York, man, you guys better be ready. Okay,
I will be there. I will be ready.
But the guys, they got to know it's a total different atmosphere.
Yep.
So preparation is the only luck we're going to ever have. So that's what we've been doing for so many years, is preparing to actually go out here and do this. And hopefully we'll be a success in Vegas, and then we'll think forward from there.
Absolutely. Like you said, don't want to put the carriage before the horse. Absolutely. But selfishly speaking, I think New York would be awesome. I'm a Connecticut native, obviously. I just saw you the other day, but we'll see. Time will tell, but I think that'd be great. But
definitely.
Before then, like I said, Friday, November 19th, it's going to be one night in Vegas for Reality of Wrestling at the MGM Grand Conference Center Premier Ballroom at 7 p.m. local time. And people, if you're not in the area, you can always check out the show on YouTube for free on the Reality of Wrestling YouTube channel. Like you said, over 500,000 subscribers. You guys are putting up content all the time. You guys do great work, Booker. And I really appreciate the time. And thanks again for the time the other day as well. It was awesome meeting you in person finally.
No doubt, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for repping Reality Wrestling.
Absolutely, Booker. Thanks so much. I appreciate the time.
Good night.